Hi guys and girls, Gareth from Forever 97 here with a very important update for you. Now I know I haven't been making videos in a long time and I'm very sorry about that, but I'm here today to do a brand new review on the 8th Doctor. Now I've been meaning to do this video for quite a long time, but I just haven't been able to get round to it, what with college work and everything else. But I'm here today to finally do that review, so let's all get started, shall we?
Billy, what are you doing?
Oh, Reese. Hi, I didn't see you come in. I was just having a look at your lovely camera.
Well, I've just woke up with a really bad headache and... What are you doing with my glasses on?
Oh, what, these? I just saw them on the table, thought I'd put them on. That's all. Roll the titles. Roll the titles.
Trying to send a distress signal. Stop talking about doctors.
I'm a doctor, but probably not the one you expected.
Hi guys and girls, here's the real Gareth from 97, and I'm here today with my friend Billy. Say hello.
Hello everyone.
You may recognise him from various videos such as The Hunt for David Tennant, recent upload Unfinished Business, which is the short film we did for our college film. He's also been an extra in various...
Oh, and I was also in the Doctor Who Experience video.
He was, yeah, in the picture video of that.
Yeah.
He's had, I think, is it two sort of major extra roles?
I had an extra role in Casualty, and I also was very lucky to meet David Tennant on Broadchurch Series 2 while we were filming for that. I was a police cadet, so you don't actually get to see me in the final edit, no. Which is a shame. But you see the back of my head.
You see the back of your head. It's in episode 2. There'll be a picture up now. But yeah, you got to meet David Tennant. Very jealous.
And I have to say, he's not like a lot of celebrities where you meet and it turns out to be a disappointment. He was a really nice, genuine guy, and I was very grateful to meet him.
Anyway,
big idol.
Enough about David Tennant. Let's go into the Doctor era sort of review we're doing, which is
actually about the 8th Doctor, isn't it, Reese?
It is, Billy.
Yeah. We're going to be starting right from the very beginning, and we're going to be talking about the television film, and then we're going to be going on to a little something you might all remember called The Night of the Doctor, which
surprised a lot of people, including us, which I think will tell our story about how we first watched it.
Yes. It's quite a good story, so look out for that bit. We won't actually be talking about his Big Finish era in this video as well. We haven't really listened to a great deal of them.
So you've listened to it at the end as well, haven't you?
I've listened to The Light at the End, which was a fantastic audio.
I think we will be starting to get into Big Finish, but I think just to quickly mention, they have obviously broadened his amount of sort of work he's done in Doctor Who, because obviously without Big Finish we wouldn't have all these amazing little gems. But yeah,
he's done over 700 audios. Now that's a lot. So in some ways,
wow, I never
he's
knew that.
more the Doctor than anyone else in some ways. I mean, people actually call Paul McGann's Doctor the longest and shortest Doctor because on television, of course, he's the Doctor for such a short period, on audio format.
Wow, I didn't know he did over 700. Wow.
Yeah. So to the review
of the TV movie. Well, the TV movie first, and then obviously go on tonight.
Yeah, and of course in the story it's 1999. And he's back just in time.
Do you remember that trailer?
Yes, I do. I remember. That's where I got that from. Actually, there's a trailer that I'm not sure if it was done for the BBC or if it was done for the American audience. But it has a voice going, "It's 1999, and he's back just in time."
Planet Earth, 1999. He's back, and it's about time.
Yeah, and I really like that trailer. I think it works quite well. I mean, a lot of people say that the television film isn't a good representation of Doctor Who, but I have to disagree because I think it shows the show in a whole new light, and it shows how Doctor can adapt to being
different situations.
Yeah, and being somewhere completely different in the world, other than here in England, really.
Yeah, well, I think it did get a lot of obviously bad sort of press. Obviously, it's sort of based in America. I think a lot of people sort of pronounce it as sort of, if the Americans dig Doctor Who, this is what we'd have, and obviously it didn't really work.
And of course, things would have gone in a very different direction if
that carried on.
happened.
Yeah, because there was that audition tape on YouTube, you can find it, where he is reading a bit from a scripted TV series.
Yes, that's very good actually.
Where they reveal the Master as his sort of brother, which they joke about.
Very American thing.
Yeah, which they joke about in that Sound of Drums, don't they?
They
laughing,
do,
going, oh, like, we should be brothers. But anyway, to the story.
You've been watching too much telly, he says, doesn't he? Yeah.
She does.
No. The Doctor says that.
Sorry.
That's all right. Mistake.
I've made a huge mistake.
So the story starts off with the Master being executed by the Daleks, who sound absolutely terrible.
And in that scene, if you notice, when they do briefly show the Master being exterminated by the Daleks, or so we thought, as McGann says.
I don't think Master will ever die, ever.
No, I don't think he will. But I'm assuming that the Master we see briefly get exterminated is meant to be Anthony's Master, actually.
I presume so. It wasn't actually him. It wasn't Anthony who filmed that scene, but I think people obviously personally presume.
But it was. I think it's meant to be, isn't it?
Yeah. I think back to the voices. I think they had a copyright issue, like they couldn't use the Daleks or something. Like.
Yes, that's right. And they actually got some. I'm not sure who it was, but some member of the crew to actually just go exterminate.
Sort of high pitch it.
And high pitched it. But I have to say that little exterminate happened to be the worst ever exterminate I think I've ever heard. In fact, I've seen poorly made fan films with
there
people,
are many.
with people. Yeah, there are many.
Well,
there are good ones as well, of course. But but with people doing the whole exterminate thing much better than how it was done in that film.
Yeah.
But I have to say, it's a very small thing, so it's something not really to go on about too much. But we'll probably get back to the story now.
Yeah. We've been probably around for about 5 minutes.
Probably. Yeah.
So the Master's executed, and the Doctor's got his remains, and it just bursts into a really cool title sequence.
Yes, and the theme as well. The theme was very good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Very well suited, I thought, for the film.
I think it's probably one of the most recognisable themes. Obviously, it was meant to be intended for a TV movie, so it was obviously quite like orchestra music, and the big trumpets.
And I'm very glad that they included Sylvester McCoy back for the beginning of that film. So we actually got to see the regeneration of the Seventh Doctor, who hadn't been seen since 1989, back again, and...
I have to disagree with you. I think...
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think they sort of learned from their mistakes with Rose. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're going to start a new series, you need a new Doctor. Like with them sort of trying to reboot Doctor Who in the sort of way it was trying to, you're sort of bringing extra baggage from like the old series.
I kind of get that, but I think the TV film shows for a new audience who don't know anything about Doctor Who, have no idea what regeneration is. It actually helps show the audience that he is an alien. You'd never have the whole storyline of Grace meeting the Doctor because he was shot without Sylvester McCoy. They never get into the whole two hearts thing and the wire coming through when he's in the back of the car.
That's gruesome, that bit.
It's gruesome, but I think it all in all works very well for the story.
Yeah. So after the titles, we jump into Sylvester McCoy having sort of the Master's remains. Who
Locked away.
Safe
men away.
Exactly. Like a painting.
So Sylvester McCoy, he returns as the seventh incarnation of the Doctor, but wearing a slightly, quite
it's a different variation,
yeah, costume than we last seen him in back.
Quite similar to what they did with the Doctor.
Yes, because it was of course Paul McGann's costume was updated for that small mini episode. But we'll be getting to that later. Let's not rush this.
Jump ahead of ourselves.
Yes.
So yeah, the Master escapes from this sort of...
Well, it's this little box, isn't it, that the Doctor's kept him in.
Yeah.
It kind of breaks, and he's sort of like... He's a bit like some sort of fluid, really, isn't he? Sort of like...
Yeah, it's quite creepy.
Yeah, and he escapes out of the TARDIS.
Yeah, the
little
TARDIS...
keyhole.
The TARDIS sort of crashes and there's all explosions, all this stuff.
The Doctor gets shot, of course.
The Doctor does get shot. We arrive in San Francisco, where we obviously see a group of gang members, and then we get.
They're about to shoot that poor. What's his name?
Do you look up on Google? 'Cause I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know his
yeah,
name.
I'm not sure. What's his name? His name was Lee, wasn't it? Because at the end he's like, Lee, take a vacation. Don't be here next year. He says that. He says Lee. His name's Lee. So we see Lee with this gang that we don't actually know too much about, but they're
not really that important.
They're not really that important, although they are about to shoot him to death. So it's quite a big moment for Lee's character, although Lee's not really the main character, main focus in the film, because this isn't Lee's movie. This is
rebrand.
Yeah, this is all about Lee now. So Lee is about to get shot when suddenly the TARDIS materializes, and out comes the Seventh Doctor.
Mentioning quickly, the TARDIS, I think that is really dramatic. How it's sort of like the wind swept. I don't think.
Yeah, I think that was a very good.
Which I think
idea,
inspired what they sort of did in the new series as well. With episode when the wind was blowing and all.
Yeah, I think so actually. Yeah. But I think that works. It works very well, and as the Seventh Doctor gets out of the TARDIS, he's greeted. We all think he's about to get on some new adventure when suddenly his adventure gets cut short because the Doctor gets shot, of course. The gang hear the police coming and they run away, or whatever it is they do.
Run!
The gang members run away, don't they? And obviously Lee's left over.
Lee's left with the Doctor to look after the Doctor, but of course the Doctor looks over to the TARDIS and he sees the little fluid of the Master seeping out of the TARDIS. Whatever it is, we're not really sure, but it's meant to be the essence of the Master.
I never really got that.
They never really explained, but we understand it's meant to be the Master. They even put in a little bit of dramatic music for you to understand it's the Master. That evil kind of dun 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 sort of music as it's seeping out of the keyhole, and the Doctor looks over and he's like, "Stop it." As we remember,
that's sort of a cliche thing to do. There, do you know what I mean? Like you know it's the Master, but it's obviously trying to suggest.
I have to say though, I do actually like the way they did that. I like the way that they brought the Master back without actually bringing the Master back. If you know what I mean.
Anti-alien.
Yeah, they didn't have to actually bring him back to bring the character back, and it actually works quite well.
Yeah.
I do think it's a bit of a pity though that Eric Roberts actually did play the Master. Although I mean some bits of it do work quite well.
Yeah,
but he's not. I don't really think he is a regeneration of the Master because of course he steals a human's body. He steals the ambulance guy's body.
Obviously, we get introduced while they're going to the hospital to sort of take the gun wounds out of the Doctor. We get introduced to the sort of Master person.
Yeah, who is the character Bruce, and then Lee has to sign the little thing, December 31st, or
just to tell us where we are, what's happening.
1999.
It's about time.
Yes, yes. So it's set slightly in the future of when it was made, because of course it was made in 1996.
I can't believe the massive gap between that and the classic series. I don't know how people would have.
I think they must have just survived on audios as well as books.
Books, audios.
And then of course in 1993 there was the little EastEnders crossover thing. But we won't go into that in this video. But
oh god, let's just bring back like horrid flashbacks to that story. Jesus.
What year is this? Oh, don't you start. There's enough oddballs around here as it is.
Madam, what year is this?
2013.
Although it was good to see John Pertwee one last time as the Doctor.
But there are like many Doctors, it isn't just John Pertwee, but...
No, but like, as John's my favourite classic Doctor,
it
it was good to see him back.
But it was awful.
But if you noticed, that small episode, we're gonna move away from it in a second, but that small episode was the only time I do think that the Colin Baker's Doctor and the Brigadier were together in Doctor Who.
That's correct, yeah.
And I'm not even sure, I don't even think that episode was canon, was it?
No, please God no.
No. But that is the only time that their characters were together on screen. I'm not sure, they might have been together in Big Finish as well, but as for on screen, that was the only time. So it's kind of quite a special moment, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have sidetracked loads, haven't we?
Yes, we've sidetracked. So we're gonna get back to the film right now.
Seventh Doctor shot, goes to the hospital, they try to treat him, and then we get introduced to Grace. We get introduced to her, she's in
She's
some
it,
opera.
and it's
Yeah.
like
And then she obviously, when she gets the call to...
and she's crying, isn't she?
Yeah.
That big dress.
Yeah, and then obviously she gets a call to go and to treat somebody. And then like,
Who
she-
happens to be the Doctor.
So she's running down the hallway. I thought it was really nice sort of shot in sort of slow motion with
Yeah.
the music from the opera still carrying on. That was really sort of movie-esque. So yeah, she treats him and it all goes a bit wrong and he's sort of...
But I have to say, I do really like that scene when he's on the operating table,
Yeah.
and they keep on thinking he's gone under, you know, like with the oxygen and that. But like, he keeps on like popping back up, popping back up.
Die already, for goodness sake.
This is 1999, isn't it?
It's quite funny because he is sort of portrayed as a delirious old man, which is quite similar to sort of
But,
William Hartnell.
I think they definitely did want to get back to that kind of classic feel, because they actually make McGann's Doctor a lot like a very young Hartnell's Doctor in a way, don't you
Yeah,
think?
no,
in
I'd
the
agree
way
with
he's
that, yeah.
dressed with the long hair. It's like they're trying to go back to basics. It's kind of rebooting the whole Doctor Who
Name as
yeah.
such, because I think as obviously it went into the 80s, it did sort of
It did
lose
go a little
its
bit
popularity.
downhill, didn't it?
So they're obviously, and I think the TV movie it does. I think still people think it's pretty bad. Like, I think there are quite a lot of people.
There are a lot of people that
we are
think
quite in
that.
the minority which think it's okay.
We actually think the film was very good.
Yeah. But we'll go into our conclusion. We keep jumping ahead ourselves. Quite
We
funny.
do,
Yeah,
but
we
we hope you're enjoying it all the same. Okay, so after the whole scenario on the operating table, the Doctor dies, or at least so we think. But it actually turns out that he hasn't died. Well, in his seventh Doctor form, he has. But as we all know, he soon regenerates in the morgue. While that guy, and I really like this how
the similarities between Frankenstein.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he's watching the film, isn't he?
He's alive. He's alive. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, the Doctor's getting back to life as well, isn't it?
Bearing in mind though, and I think this is quite important, like if you're trying to treat this as a sort of reboot, I'd say, I think I would be very, very confused if I knew nothing. Like, this guy, he's in a police box, he's got shot and he's now changed to another man.
But what better way to show that the Doctor isn't human by doing things
Oh,
like
no, yeah,
this?
they really
I mean,
think-
when that door opens,
Yeah.
they kind of make him seem a bit like Jesus, don't they? Like.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy even says, he's like, God, no, please, God, no, isn't it?
Have you seen
the American guy?
Speaking about that American hospital guy, there's a really funny.
Oh, I know what you're going to mention.
A
Actually.
really funny meme of which is quite reminiscent of what in Time of Doctor, where
Yeah, the first face.
the first face his face saw, and then
That's-
they put like McGann is the hospital man. It's funny as hell.
It's very funny, yeah.
So he collapses, and then the Doctor sort of goes
He's
looking around.
Who am I?
And he goes and he's, who am I? Looking for some new clothes.
Yeah, and then they do what many American TV shows do and make it very dramatic. And he sort of like gets on the floor. He's like, Jesus Christ, superstar. He's like, oh. Actually, Paul McGann's Doctor actually reminds me a little bit like you know stage Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat a little bit with the long hair and no.
I know of that, but I don't know which play.
Well, never mind.
I don't really.
No.
Oh, we should mention also Grace and Lee sort of meet up, and he steals the Doctor's equipment, doesn't he? Like his screwdriver, his watch.
He does.
Yeah.
But as we know, towards the end of the film, the Doctor actually lets him keep all that stuff, doesn't it? Which would explain why he gets a new sonic screwdriver, which is seen in Night.
I don't think there was any changes there.
But it had to have been a new screwdriver, surely, because
Yeah, they're not gonna like a prop. Yeah, but I think it was.
No, when I say it was a new screwdriver, I meant a new screwdriver. I know
You
it had the
literally
same
meant a new
design.
screwdriver. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Because we know the War Doctor gets a new screwdriver. We don't really know how he gets that, but we don't really care to be honest either.
No, he I think a lot of people hate me for this, but you do have a sort of hatred for the War Doctor as well, don't you?
This video is not about the War Doctor.
No,
this
no.
video is about the
We'll
Eighth Doctor,
brief-
and I think we should keep it all about the Eighth Doctor
Okay.
as it's his video.
But we've got to briefly mention at the end, obviously.
We will
At the
come.
very end,
we will.
very end.
We will come to that. We will come to that. But that's in the future. We are in the present. Oh, we're not.
Yeah, we are in the past to them.
We're in the past to you,
This is-
because
I
to
don't
you,
know.
of course, this is
I
already
don't
happened.
know when I edit the video.
Yeah.
Weeks,
But
months,
for
years.
us, this is the present. For you, it's the past. For us, it's the present.
I'm
For
really
you watching it from
you've-
where we are, it's the future.
You've really confused me. I'm very confused.
Well, you were confusing me, so I was just going along with the confusion, really. But
Back to normality. I don't know how long this has been.
this is going to be a very long video.
Good luck to you watching.
Yeah. Good luck to you editing as well. It's
I
going
will
to take a
need
while.
it. I will need it.
Yeah.
Moving on swiftly. So the Doctor meets up with Grace in the hospital. Meets her in the elevator. That was a pretty cool scene.
Yes, that was.
And he's obsessed, obviously, with
Clocks.
Yeah.
We said that at
clocks.
the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
He's looking around, sort of looking like this, and he's like, time. As the clocks are ticking.
Yeah.
And they're all going tick tock, tick tock.
And then he gets in Grace's car.
But I do really like how they do that. So I think the audience jumps as well as Grace. So it kind of puts you in Grace's shoes, and I
Yeah.
quite like that because you suddenly see it. He's like in the back of the car, and she's like get out, and he's like, please, you got to help me. I have two hearts. He's pulling out. So drive. And I just really like how they do that.
I think you've put a lot of detail into that scene. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Now, I do love the television film.
I think you are quite in the minority, to be honest, with that. But
I probably am, but that doesn't really
No,
bother
no,
me
that should-
because
no,
it's just
exactly.
it's what I like.
because I
Doesn't mean you all have to like it as well.
no, and I think many people do hate. I think it gets more hate than what
It
should.
deserves.
Yeah.
It doesn't really deserve.
We
it.
should be saving this for the conclusion.
We should be.
Right.
But it's all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff, of course. So as long as it's in the video, I think it's okay.
Be fine, yeah. Briefly before we move on though, there was two scenes. One with the two doctors, who not the two doctors.
Yeah,
the
you don't want
ones.
people thinking it is
No,
the actual.
the
character.
ones that operated on the Doctor himself, and obviously
That's
found the
good.
evidence. And there was a really creepy scene with the sort of transformation of the new Master, where Eric Roberts becomes the Master, and that was a really creepy scene. Obviously, when they sort of
Yeah, she's
the
like,
snake-
well, what do you want me to call you? Master.
he's like shh.
His eyes go green as well.
Yeah.
To just show how evil he really is.
And there's all that spit as well, which reminded me of like Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
And the end of time, it's like
For the end of time
time
itself. So the Doctor is trying to prove to Grace, of course, that he is telling the truth. He's
Yeah.
not some madman. Well, he might be a madman. The Doctor is a bit of a madman, isn't
In a
he?
box.
In a box. But he's not the kind of madman she thinks. She thinks she's just a nutter. And that's obviously not really the case, is
No,
it?
no.
And so, although she's trying to get him in some psychiatric ward, he manages to prove to her that if she doesn't listen to him, everything as we know it could be over. So he does the whole thing with the glass, stepping
Yeah,
through,
yeah.
and soon in catastrophic ways.
There's also it's quite a nice scene, and in the park because we forgot to mention also that a Doctor has got some memory loss.
Yes, he has. But of course, that soon comes back to him.
That's what I'm
doesn't it?
saying. That's the scene where it's sort of like he's sort of.
And that's
like
one of my favourite scenes as well in the film.
when he's sort of reminiscing about being on Gallifrey
With his dad.
With his dad.
I'm lying on the grass with my father's warm girlfriend.
He's like, these shoes! They fit perfectly! And obviously we have that controversial kiss, which I think, at the time people were like, no.
This isn't Doctor Who.
This
This
is
isn't the
outrageous.
Doctor Who I remember. What have they done to our show? How can they do this to Doctor Who?
And sort of watching it from, the thing is like, well, obviously we've sort of been introduced to a new series. I think...
So we have seen this happen quite
yeah,
a bit.
we're used to it. Obviously, this is quite a big jump, a big leap from the classic. Who's sort of never said that a Doctor and a companion should have. Any...
But I suppose it's just all modernising the show quite a bit.
Yeah.
I suppose. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I started watching Doctor Who, I didn't actually start when the show came back. I started watching.
Oh no! Yeah.
John Pertwee's classic episodes, and then of course when the show did come back in 2005, it was like a dream come true, because this was like my favourite show,
Yeah.
and it was back, and it was amazing. But we won't go into
We
that
keep
again.
jumping out there.
Sidetrack. Back to the 8th Doctor now.
So the Master turns up as well. Lee, they get into the TARDIS and we'll get explained about the Eye of Harmony, which sort of becomes a big plot thing near the end.
That's a great name, don't you think, as well? For
The
it?
Eye of Harmony.
The Eye of
Well,
Harmony.
there is quite some.
It sounds very big, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
the end of the universe. The Eye of Harmony.
There's some quite confusing thing about it, because it was meant to be on Gallifrey, and then they sort of had it in the TARDIS, and obviously in that god awful journey to the hole. That was. That's what I don't even call it J Central TARDIS, where obviously it was in the TARDIS again. But in the TV movie, obviously it's this massive sort of room with the massive ball. Which
I love the way they showed the TARDIS in the TV film as well.
it's a shame it was just used for that one story.
It really
such
is.
a waste.
I mean, if you think about it, like in Day
We're
of
all different people. All through
No, I wasn't going to say
I
that.
know.
In Day of the Doctor, they give the War Doctor his own TARDIS, but really, don't you think, wouldn't it have been cool if he had the same as McGann had in the TV film? I know they couldn't because it was made by Americans, but it would have been.
It wasn't
cool,
made by
wouldn't it?
America. That's the thing.
Well, it was made in partnership with the BBC.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah.
We'll agree there.
Okay. But the BBC didn't have rights to use that TARDIS.
Yeah. We got some really cool chase scene with the Doctor and the Master in an ambulance.
You actually see the Doctor on a motorbike.
He offers
the police officer a jelly baby,
which is obviously reminiscent to Tom Baker's Doctor.
And of course, when you see the Doctor on a motorbike, I don't know if you remember back in the Bells of St. John, and he's on the motorbike, it kind of
He also-
reminisces of that.
He
from the
also
TV
did it
film.
in Survival as well.
Yes, he did actually. He did. Yes.
Yeah.
McGann's predecessor.
And Tennant did on in Idiot's
Oh,
Lantern.
in Idiot's Lantern, yeah.
The Doctor's used many motorbikes in the past.
Yeah. And perhaps in the future. Who knows, eh?
There was also another controversial thing about the TV movie is when he jokes with the security card. He's like, I'm half human on my mother's side.
Yes, that actually proved to be quite controversial because there was a lot of Doctor Who fans saying, "Well, this can't be. This has never been in Doctor Who. We can't allow this." And I think even to some degree, Moffat's like this because when he's been asked about it,
Moffat
he just says,
said-
"Oh, the Doctor was." Doctor was bluffing. He's not half human. He's a
Time
Time
the
Lord.
Doctor lies. Blah, 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 blah. I think.
But you never know. It would explain his fascination with Earth girls, wouldn't it? Don't you think?
That sounds really creepy. Right, so to cut a long story short, well, I'm going to briefly go through it. They go back to the TARDIS, he shows Grace, there's that really cool thing in the TARDIS where it sort of opens up. The Master takes control of her.
She gets possessed, basically.
And the Master's basically sort of master plan, see the pun?
Yes, I do.
Is to take all the Doctor's lives.
But the Master does actually slip up, doesn't it? Because he mentions about wasting all his lives, and the Doctor mentions that to Lee. Lee puts 2 and 2 together and actually realizes that the Master has lied to him, and he.
I think he does feel quite betrayed. Do you know what I mean? Because I think
Because Lee's not actually a bad character, is he? He's just
no. He does sort of see them sort of sympathise with him. I think it does seem sort of relation, but I don't think the character Lee is as bad. Do you know what I mean?
He's actually quite good, really, isn't he, to be honest.
Yeah,
he's I mean, he is a kind of character who's in it for himself, but at the same time, he is a bit selfish to begin with. But I think he does actually change, doesn't he? And he is quite.
That's
good
another thing as
person,
well. I think by the end of the TV movie, both the human characters that are with the Doctor do change drastically. Obviously, with Lee sort of taking away from the gang
and
side.
Grace has learned a lot as well.
Yeah.
Because she seems to like care a lot more, doesn't she, about everything?
I think she's more open, obviously, to the idea of taking away from the gang
and
side.
Grace has learned a lot as well.
Yeah.
Because she seems to like care a lot more, doesn't she, about everything?
I think she's more open, obviously, to the idea of other beings and stuff. So obviously,
Yeah.
I think anybody would really.
So how does it feel, Grace, to hold back death?
So yeah, the Doctor saves the day. The Master goes to the Eye of Harmony, never to be seen again until
What was it?
2007
Seven.
series 3 finale, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it.
Crazy.
Derek Jacobi.
He was.
He did a really great job, didn't he?
And he also played, Derek Jacobi played him in
The Scream of Sharka.
Yeah,
Yes, he
I
did.
think, which was pretty cool.
Oh,
So-
my dear doctor, you have been.
So the Doctor kisses Grace, says goodbye, and then
Yeah, they had
Oh,
that,
that's
they had that
actually
really big kiss.
Yeah.
The first time ever, very controversial, of course,
Yeah.
with the fireworks in the background. But then again, ever since then, that
No,
the Doctor has
the
been
last ever seen the TV
kissing
movie
people,
was.
hasn't he?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think us two will see it differently to people who.
I mean, we didn't really have. There's no really a problem with that, is there?
No,
to be
no.
honest?
I know you said about obviously we watched class series first, but I think we mainly got into it because of the new series. Do you know what I mean?
I think I still would have, because I was, of course,
Yeah.
I was a fan before the show came back,
Yeah, yeah,
but I
same.
don't think I would have been as overly obsessed as I am
Yeah.
had
I
it
don't-
not
I
returned.
don't
It'd
think-
be very interesting to see what the world would have been like if the show hadn't come back and the last thing anyone ever saw of it was the TV film.
Oh god.
I imagine
Oh yeah.
Big Finish
the
audience
last,
would have
the
still
last,
happened.
this brings back to what I was going to say. Like, the last shot of him going, "Oh no, not again!" Where he's like, "Time, time, time."
Yeah, well, of course, that scene was actually written like that because it was going to be leading off into the television series.
Yeah.
The television series, of course, which never happened because
No.
the deal with America
I think-
fell through.
I think it was because there was a premiere of a show which was quite popular in America. I think the BBC, when it was broadcast in the UK, I think it did really quite well. So obviously it had the Doctor Who name on it, but obviously it didn't get a series, which is what his intention was.
I think as a whole, although I would have loved to have seen Paul McGann do a series, because I do think had he have had a series, he could have quite possibly have been the best Doctor of them all. Perhaps.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen, and maybe in a way it was good it didn't happen because the show wouldn't have been relaunched by
I
Russell.
think it would have gone
with
more into
Chris.
the ground, to be honest, the way it was going to go.
Yeah,
from Rex.
yeah. I mean, I kind of think I would have loved to have seen more McGann as the Doctor, but I kind of think perhaps it's good it didn't go in that direction.
I think as a whole, it's pretty good. As a sort of thing to launch a new series Doctor Who, I don't think it successfully did that.
It's a very good gap, I think, in between
Yeah,
the classic and the new, because it is like a mixture of the
It
two.
is,
in a
yeah,
way, isn't
yeah.
It does
I
that
think
quite
that's
well.
the thing. I think they sort of looked at it and thought, right, I'll pick that from the TV movie, the kissing, that from the class series. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
If you had to rate the TV movie out of 10, what would you rate it as?
That is actually a very difficult question because I know a lot of people won't actually rate it that high, but I think the TV film is a good 7. I think.
A 7. I was going to go for about a 6.5, 6, around about there. So it's sort of
Well,
around.
I'm gonna round it off and I'm going with a 7.
Very good. So yeah, any other closing thoughts? I think it was decent, but as a sort of series work, I think McGann was absolutely brilliant. Obviously,
I think that film, although we didn't actually get to see a great deal of McGann afterwards, of course.
No.
That film does really represent his Doctor, doesn't it? It shows us who his Doctor really is.
Yeah.
And like it goes to show us how he could have been had an American adaptation reboot happened, really.
Yeah. So that was it then. Until 17 years later.
In 2013.
And obviously, in between that time, there were some Big Finish stories.
Oh, there were loads of Big Finish.
But we're concentrating on the TV series today.
Yes, we will. Yeah.
So yeah, as I say, this is our sort of quite funny story.
Yes. Let's go back to being in college.
Yeah.
It's November 2013. It's just like a normal day, like any other. We didn't know. Well, they did actually do a little announcement saying to go to your computers in, what was it, half an hour or an hour? I didn't know about this. Reese knew about
I
this.
think I did, yeah, at the time. I was sort of like, well, wait.
I didn't know about this.
And then they uploaded the thing, and then
we were in photography, our photography lesson.
They were
then
boring.
there was they were alright, but like there was a new upload from Doctor Who, and we wondered what this would be, and it said in the little description how it was a short like mini special, and it said it was either going to be with John Hurt, David Tennant, or Matt Smith, but it turns out it was with none of them. And then they
Such
kept
a
on
good
saying,
surprise.
"Oh, I remember Frank, who's our friend, kept on saying, who do you think it's going to be then? Who do you think it's going to be then?" And we didn't know who it was going to be.
It was-
Well, I didn't.
it was-
You two had already seen it just before I watched it.
Yeah, basically, I put it on my computer, and then when it goes in, it's like, I'm the Doctor, but point the one you're expecting. I literally paused, my jaw broke, and then I got my nearest friend next to me, who was a guy called Frank, and he was like, oh my god, we got Billy. So he ran into another room you were in.
Yeah. And I just doing my work.
And by everybody was just around my computer, and even our teacher started watching it, didn't he? It was
He made a little comment saying, "Oh, what was it? North Petherton Carnival." Do you remember?
I never got that reference. I don't think anybody else would, but I know what it's from.
Because of the Sisterhood of Khan.
Yeah.
But then when I actually saw Paul McGann, because I haven't mentioned that yet. When I actually saw him on there, because I didn't have any idea he was going to be coming back. So we see him, and I love the way he just like turns up and we see him, and I think it's great. But I have to say, when I clocked on to how they were going to make him regenerate, and he only had a few moments left, I did feel slightly cheered, because it felt like they gave us, the whole Doctor Who community, Paul McGann back, and then they took him away.
Yeah.
So it's like we got him back, and we were like, yes, we got Paul McGann back, and then we're like, yeah. Moffat's like, you like that? We're gonna take him away now. It was kind of a bit like that, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Well, it was a bit like that.
Yeah, I know. I think obviously the purpose of that was to obviously bring Paul McGann back, but also for Moffat's favour, it was to introduce the Ward Doctor and show he's an actual doctor, and this is how the regeneration happens.
But I know Reese actually mentioned the whole thing about said about me not liking the War Doctor earlier. I mean, when I say this, I don't mean that John Hurt didn't portray the character well. I just think the character wasn't really needed, because I felt the 50th anniversary would have suited McGann's character, showing the transformation from the innocent sort of
Also,
that was in the TV film to becoming
Also, I think the thing is with the 50th, it should have been celebrating what we had, and I think introducing a new Doctor it shouldn't have done it. But the thing is, I think what Moffat said about the War Doctor was that he couldn't.
They're trying to get elements of the classic era within the War Doctor. And they kind of do that, but I think it would have been much more to fans if they actually got Paul McGann to be in that episode, because we always thought Paul was the one who ended the Time War.
I started to perceive it as that. I know obviously Can is the War Doctor, but also I think as well with the War Doctor, the purpose of him as well again was, I think, because Moffat couldn't see either Eccleston or McGann ending it.
But what a load of nonsense!
I think the pure essence of that is brilliant. It's because McGann was such a lovely Doctor.
But to see him transform, the Doctor is still trying to do what is right, but because he knows what he has to do is going to make him into such a different person. He renounces the title of the Doctor, and that's very understandable. So I understand why the War Doctor does that. But if that was Paul McGann doing that, it's so amazing, wouldn't it?
Quickly in the story of the Doctor, a woman called Cass is crashing. She sends a distress signal. The Doctor comes.
She won't get on the TARDIS with him.
No, he tries to save her, and obviously
I'm not a Dalek.
This is in the midst of the Time War, so we sort of get to see she's like, you're a Time Lord, and then we obviously see the Time Lords sort of, in other people's eyes, perceived or as bad as the Daleks, which is quite a weird thing, but
at least I'm not a Dalek.
Look at the bright side, I'm not a Dalek.
Yeah, and they also actually briefly mention how, because of course it is in the Time War, but it's still in the early stages of the Time War, and that's why when he goes to Khan, they're like, you are the only one who can end this, and that's a very powerful build-up. I would have loved it if it was actually him who ended it, like we all originally thought. I just feel that the War Doctor didn't really know what was going on too much in the 50th. Like
yeah, but I think it's meant to show confusion, but it doesn't.
There's a video of actually Matt and David together, and David saying how John kept on reading through his script and was like, what does this mean? And what's this?
Yeah,
but they were applauding him for doing it so well without actually knowing what is even going on.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Another Doctor. We will. I think if we ever do future videos of this, I think we will probably get distracted like a lot more.
Most likely.
Mostly, yeah. Anyway, so the Doctor and Cass, the spaceship is screwed, and they'll crash land on Khan.
Because the Doctor, of course, says that he's not going to leave the ship without her.
And we're on Khan
Cass.
with Sisterhood of Khan, which obviously were in the story The Brain and War, because that was a nice little sort of throwback.
Yeah, and of course, the Eighth Doctor actually visited Khan quite a few times within the Big Finish audios, so that did fit in quite nicely.
And from then on, it's just about sort of going through the process of the Doctor thinking, well, there's no need for a Doctor anymore. There's no need for a Doctor anymore, and obviously them sort of convincing him that he can they obviously bring this thing in that he can change into whatever he wants.
Fat or thin, man or woman?
What do you need now?
Yes. But I tell you something that will please a lot of you Big Finish fans was how Moffat actually mentioned all the companions.
He made Big Finish canon.
He made yes, those companions are now
which
canon.
I think that's special.
Which is good, isn't it? And I think Paul McGann even says in a little interview that he was very glad that happened.
I think a lot of people like...
And it ends his era well, even though in audio they're not there yet.
Yeah. I think also it's just quite funny that they sort of like... I think the Big Finish sales did boost up after that, because I think they're like, hang on, this is canon? Oh, I might actually listen to this.
Not that they shouldn't have listened to it anyway, because, you know, Big Finish,
So anyway, Not the Doctor, what do you think overall?
I think it's, although it's very short, and I would have loved it to have been a good old, you know, 45-minute episode. An episode you could really sink your teeth in. Yeah. I still think it works very well, and I actually do think for a mini episode, or a minisode, it's probably the best one Doctor Who have ever done, I think. Probably.
Really?
I think so. Because it was such a surprise, McGann coming back, and you know, they've never really done anything like that before. They may never do anything like that again. I mean, let's not say that because we don't want to dash your hopes.
I think I do sort of despise the purpose of it, obviously transitioning into water, but I think as a story as a whole, I think definitely by far the best prequel mini-story
that the show's ever done.
Yeah,
produced.
I think I'd highly.
And it's very nice how they released that just online too. I thought.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they weren't going to release it that long because it was going to be leaked.
Yeah. But I'm very happy that it got released when it did, because that actually was Paul McGann's 54th birthday, I think.
It was, yeah. I think it was sort of, like, I was literally thinking, like, whilst watching that for the first time, I was thinking, the 50th anniversary is nearly here.
Yeah.
And celebrating on it.
But didn't you think that when you first see Paul McGann, because they show him that, like before the little titles bit, you think, oh, well actually, maybe he will be in Day of the Doctor. And then they show he's about to change, and then everyone sort of clocks on, because of the end of Name of the Doctor introducing John Hurt, they all clock on, oh, he's going to regenerate to John Hurt, isn't he? Oh, here it comes. And then you see him start to regenerate, we're like, don't go, Paul, don't go. And then it happens, of course, which leads on to Day of the Doctor. But as a whole, it was very good.
Yeah, so summing up the whole of it, quite funny that first TV appearance, and then we've got some Big Finish.
He's matured quite a lot, hasn't he? By now.
Oh yeah, he just aged quite a lot.
But also the way he plays the role is
I can't believe
it's a lot different. I'm not saying that because I enjoyed the way he played the part in the television film. But he's a lot more serious now.
It gave him the
Time War, the early days of the Time War, changed him.
I think
Time War's definitely changed.
I think giving a second time round on sort of TV, online, whatever. Sort of, I think he knew what he wanted to correct.
He probably also knew that this mini episode, although he literally got a phone call and he like, can you come in on Monday to film? And he was like, oh, all right. So although he didn't have much time to prepare for the role, I'm pretty sure.
So quick.
Yeah,
but then
I'm pretty sure he knew that would be the only other time he'd be playing the Doctor on screen. So he's like, I'm gonna make it count.
Or one last time.
Yeah.
Jesus.
One last trip there.
Yeah, well, Matt's with quoting.
Still the Doctor.
So overall, I think McGann's era, short but sweet.
Good way to sum it up, really.
Yeah, pretty much short and sweet. It would have been nice to have got a series. I think a lot of people after Not the Doctor did want.
In fact, there was a petition. Petition, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a petition to give sort of more web episodes. which I think the BBC could have done. They don't distract from the main show.
Well, Stephen Moffat said something that I can understand. He said how who would be on the lunchbox, Paul McGann or Peter Capaldi, and that's quite understandable.
Offer them 2 lunchboxes.
Yes, but they could have. I think that would have worked well if they had a Paul McGann.
Right.
Sorry about that, guys. Camera died. What can you do?
So overall, 8th Doctor era, as I said, short but sweet. TV movie, I think was pretty good. And I think it was.
All in all, I think it had a great beginning, had a great end, and I guess where the 8th Doctor really belongs and truly lives is in the Big Finish audience.
Yeah,
really.
it does. Yeah.
And I suppose that's pretty much it.
Pretty much it, yeah. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter down in the description below. You don't have a YouTube channel, do you? So,
No,
I'm not going to say
so that's it.
I'm not going to say subscribe to him. Do you like this? I say, do you like us? Do you want us to do more reviews together? If you do, then.
And if you don't, I'm on my way.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, if you want us to do any more reviews together, please let me know if there's any episodes you want me to review specifically. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Bye bye.